We are joined by, well, we'll start with a little story. I roll into the gym here in Vegas at 5:30 in the morning, think, okay, all these other slackers are asleep. I'm going to be in here by myself. Who do I see? Heather Dinich. And she's already walking. She's already done the hard part of her workout.
Well, listen, I'm trying to keep my brain and my body on East Coast time, and it's very difficult to do here in Las Vegas.
My thing on working out at hotel gyms is I've been in the gym a lot at home, okay?
Mhm.
And it's just like, I'm okay not working out at the hotel gym because as long as you're doing it at home, but then again, you guys are
missed days are wasted opportunities.
Yeah, you're right.
Consistency is key.
We're at
right?
Big Ten Media Day, and I've heard if you're not getting better today, you're getting worse.
There you go.
Maybe I did get worse today, but she helped me download the Yucca app. Do you know what this app is?
I eat yucca. We have lots of Latin restaurants where I live.
It's
an
app where you can scan the label.
Okay.
And it's not nutrition facts, but it tells you, is this a wholesome thing to put in your body or is it filled with junk?
So it yucks your yum. Like you're expecting to eat something bad for you and you're like, well, I can't now.
It gives you alternatives. So what I found out is every single thing I eat is poisonous.
Right. You got to ditch the 7-Eleven snacks, which my kids are very sad to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, you have to wean them off that.
I know. I have to wean myself off of that.
We've tried, but the problem is that like in my house, your house is maybe different, but I've got a ballet dancer and a football player who's bulking, and it becomes a challenge to plan meals.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Steaks, peanut butter.
I do.
They're a good thing.
The one thing that'll never happen for me, and I wish it did, before we get into football talk, is I wish I could ever have a phase in my life where bulking was the goal.
Right.
No, you don't.
That would be amazing.
Let me tell you how that can mess you up for a long time.
Your goal for the next 2 weeks is to gain as much weight as possible. That would be amazing.
Nope. I spent about 3 years where the goal was to gain as much weight as possible, and it messed me up for the next 30. So you don't want that.
Yeah, but I would also not gain any good weight.
I didn't either. Dirty secret. Heather, you are an expert on the college football playoff. We wanted to have you on the day Tony Petitti spoke because, well, it's very rare to hear from Tony Petitti.
Yes, it is.
So what did you take away from his defense of the 4 auto bid model, and then kind of where he's at with Greg Sankey right now?
Well, his side of this and the Big Ten side is that they're not handing these spots to teams. And I think they feel like that's a misperception amongst the public. They're saying you have to win it. You have to earn it through these play-in games.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, he did not use the phrase automatic qualifiers. He said that he wants to increase the conference race and tie that into the postseason.
And this is the ex-TV programmer. I can feel it in him. Like the play-in games are his baby because I think it would be fun. Like
it would be fun.
It would have been Indiana, Iowa last year. It would have been Ohio State against
Illinois. Maybe?
Illinois. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those would have been fun. The SEC versions of those would have been fun. But here, this is what I always say with this one. If you start explaining that to somebody who doesn't follow college football and you put a clock on it, it takes you like 2.5 minutes to explain it.
Fair. Right.
And that's where I worry about that.
Right. Well, and when you have the 5+11 model, the 5 highest ranked conference champions, 11 at large, you are giving the power to humans. This is a selection committee. And he did say, Petitti said that any format that gives more power to the people basically is going to have a hard time garnering support from the Big Ten.
I want to write this today. And you'll help me workshop this. This is what I do. I use smart people.
Stealing my column idea. Great.
Oh, okay. You can still
go ahead.
I actually don't
it's
know.
It's a good thing I'm between you two.
Yes, right.
And you know what? We got a good working relationship. If you want to write it, go for it. But tell me if this is your idea and be honest. Don't steal my idea.
All right.
I hear a lot of flack towards the committee. I hear, and I understand the point that he's making in we want to regulate or to diminish as much power from human beings making these decisions that we can settle on the field. And I understand where his heart is. But I actually think that everybody, me, you, Andy, would have a hard time coming up with a area in which the committee made the wrong decision in the past. And my thing is they've done a tremendous job. And I feel like they're getting the brunt of this back and forth tug of war when actually I think the more power they have, they've already illustrated for a decade that they're not going to mess it up, right? Like, why do they keep getting the short end of the stick here?
Because of Indiana. I think that
But that was the right call.
I think the angst with the selection committee can all be traced to what might be an anomaly, which was Indiana last year, playing one of the weakest schedules and being held in such high regard. But let me tell you something. As someone who has covered the selection committee for over a decade, I understand very well how this process works and how those people in the room think. And there's a narrative out there that's not right in terms of how they're judging these teams. I truly believe that.
Okay, I'm not stealing that. That's your column. It's all yours.
But the thing with Indiana that I can't get over is we're not comparing 2 9-3 teams.
Correct.
We're comparing two teams.
Indiana
that have two different
at
games.
10-2 would have been ranked behind the 3 9-3 SEC teams.
They got 2 games
But
ahead.
this goes, another point to this is that the protocol the selection committee uses was written by the commissioners.
Right.
I mean, let's not
They
forget
could
this
rewrite
fact.
it. But that's their plan. And so I'm wondering how this happens, though, because the one area where Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey seem to agree completely is if they were to do the 5-11, they would want some changes in the selection criteria. They would want strength of schedule to be considered in a more meaningful way. But how do you do that when there's such a small sample size?
Well, and the other thing is this goes back to the dawn of time in college football. You can figure it out, right? I mean, the BCS will argue over that forever. You know,
Yeah.
you can, but to your point, like, no, I don't think anyone would argue who won the national title over the past 11 years was the wrong team.
Right.
I got nothing on that.
Well, even if you go back to the first 14 playoff selection, it was very controversial when they put Ohio State in over TCU and Baylor. Ohio State was the best team in that playoff.
They won it all.
Like, it sucks for TCU and Baylor. It would have been nice if there was a system where they could have played in it too, but they would have gotten killed by
We've
Ohio
also
State.
talked a lot about too. Like I have less remorse for being left out at 12, 13, 14 as they expand this than I do for TCU and Baylor.
Well, that's my thing. Is if you're going to make it 16, that erases some of the consternation because you got more room for mistakes there.
But I would trust the committee emphatically. Like I don't know if the answer is diminish the regular season and create more weird games because the committee can't do it.
Well, Heather, you get this probably more than anybody because you're the one who explains the committee to the masses on ESPN. And I'm sure it's always, well, this person has this bias and this person. But I feel like there's no, like going back to what Ari said, we would have all, if the three of us were doing it,
we would have had the same one.
Come up with the same teams.
It might have been a little bit
We
different
yeah.
seating, but we all would have had the same teams.
Right. Well, and the other thing too that people forget is the emotion in the room when you're together watching games and you see SMU in the first half versus SMU in the second half. That's a real thing. That's the human element.
Like
that's
the ACC championship
yes,
game. Yeah.
That's the ebb and flow of a college football game. And humans recognizing, had they played this way in the second half that they played in the first half, they wouldn't be in the college football playoff. Now, you can argue that, but you take all of the schedule in its totality. You can argue they didn't play Miami. Well, you know, a lot of teams don't play. It's not equal in any conference, and it never will be. So you've got to figure it out. With
16 and 18 team conferences.
And we can't even effectively. That's the craziest thing of this whole thing. We can't even effectively name the conference champions properly.
We're
want to talk about the playoff? We can't even figure out who the best teams in conferences are.
Guys, we're sitting here at the Big Ten media days, and there are 18 teams, okay?
And we're in Las Vegas.
It's all
and multiple teams traveled east to get here.
Aren't there 40
in the Big Ten?
Aren't there 40% of the teams in the name, or there's 40% of the 10 is the time zones it represents now, right? Was there 4 time zones in America or 3? I don't know.
Oh my God.
Well, all
it's 3,
I know
right?
is my brain's on about 3.
Is there a little shred of Maine in the Atlantic time zone? Because I think it's 4.
No, it's 4. Yeah, we got Eastern.
Well, no, Hawaii and Alaska have their own, so it's 6.
So it's 6. Yeah, because Arizona has its own.
Welcome to the show, Heather.
It's our show. Is it 6 time zones?
Yeah.
It is
that
6.
right?
Okay,
It is 6.
America time.
I'm just a sports writer, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
Did you know that Mount Rainier is active?
oh God, here we go. All right. So what
Active
do
volcano.
you think happens ultimately? Because they do need to figure something out by December 1st,
Mhm.
one way or the other. They can stay at 12, go to 16. They can do the auto bids. The SEC can go to 9 conference games and say, we offer that up as a compromise and please do 5-11. What do you think happens?
Yeah, I've been doing this too long to know that any prediction that comes out of my mouth would be right. But I will say it wouldn't surprise me if it stayed at 12 because as both commissioners have pointed out, there is a format in 2026. They already have one. The question is, do they want to change it? That's what this is. Do they want to change it from 12 teams and what we'll see this fall to something different?
That stay at 12 feels more real every day. And it's one of those things that when they first brought it up, I wonder if they were surprised by this, because my first reaction when you heard Greg Sankey and Destin say, well, you could just stay at 12, was like, okay.
Right.
Like, I didn't. I kind of like 12.
We haven't had 12 long enough to even.
I've only seen it 1 year.
Right.
Heather, you know, when Andy, we talked after we hung out for a few hours in Dallas, waiting for no information. I said, Andy, we should have Heather on the show. And he goes, that'd be great. And I said, you want to know why I want Heather on the show? Not because she can help me lose some weight, but you have been in an important job. And I think you have one of the best jobs in the world.
Thank you.
But I feel like you're more of an information distributor and you're not. I want to know what your opinion is. You get to give your opinion a lot. Like, what do you think is the best format and what do you think is most functional for college football?
I think the best format is the one that gives college football fans the two things that they want. And I'm saying this sincerely. College football fans want to see blue blood matchups and they want to see the potential for an upset. When you look back over the history of college football playoff, what do people love? They have App State, Michigan. They love Boise State, Oklahoma. They love Alabama, Utah, in the Sugar Bowl, right? We remember those. We talk about those moments. So give college football fans the opportunity for those moments, but give them Ohio State, give them Penn State, give them Alabama and Georgia.
So give them Notre Dame, Penn State,
Yeah.
and Texas, Ohio State in the semis, which they got last
But
year.
you also got Arizona State, Texas.
You've got
last year.
You've got that potential, and I think however way you want to slice that up, if you get that mix, to me, that's the perfect postseason.
I think if you stay at 12, you get
I think we got that last year, didn't we? I mean, we didn't get the result, but we got the potential.
If you stay, if you go to 16 and it's not the weird double bye thing, which by God, if they do that, I'm going to scream. If you go to 16 and have a classic 16 team bracket, I think it probably allows you a little more upset potential.
Yeah.
But the blue blood matchups you're going to get too.
Right.
So I'm with you. I think but I think you can get that with either format. I'm interested because hearing, I was in Destin, so heard all the SEC machinations, because I think the SEC folks, the ADs went into Destin thinking we're probably going to back this auto bid thing. And the coaches talked him out of it. And there was, and the response from normal people was like, well, this makes sense. And I was surprised that the SEC kind of backed off that.
Well, I asked Shane Beamer why, what he saw or heard in Destin that changed his mind. And it was a very simple answer. It was, we saw models that said, why would we limit ourselves to 4 teams when we could have 7 or 8? Because if you look past the history of the
typical SEC thinking.
Why put a cap on it? So that was a big part of it.
And it feels like they've kind of been, Greg Sankey has kind of been now moving to, if we were to give you the 9th conference game, which he wants anyway, like everybody knows that he wants that anyway.
Right. Well, he does. And it wouldn't surprise me if they went to 9 conference games, but they're not going to be bullied into it by the Big Ten because
that's what it is. It's got to be my idea. You didn't fire me. I quit.
Right. Well, how many other conferences dictate what other conferences do with their scheduling?
Yeah.
But, is it a bargaining chip?
Apparently Indiana was dictated by the SEC. That's why they ducked Virginia. Heather's got to go.
Thank you, Heather.
So much.
Really appreciate you being here.
God. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I'll see you both in the gym tomorrow.
I'm beating you there. Beating you there.
Yeah. Okay. We're in Las Vegas, by the way. The city is Las Vegas. We're in. Okay. Why do they have gyms here?
I'm beating her into the gym.
All right. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Heather.